welcome to a very special edition of Hue at Home. It is the 60th anniversary for Winnipeg's contemporary dancers. I have Jolene Bailie, artistic director, and a very special surprise, maybe not, but such a incredible way to begin the season. Special guest artist Margie Gillis. First of all, Margie, welcome back to Winnipeg.
Thank
a little
you.
cold.
Thank you. It's cold, but it's beautiful. It's wonderful to be back. I'm really, really happy to be. I mean, I used to come here all the time, every year, every 2 years, and I certainly worked with Winnipeg Contemporary, and Ted Robinson was a very, very dear friend of mine, and actually was just before he died, he was in rehearsal of this piece with Randal and I in southern Quebec. So it's really special to be here and to be in Randal's hometown and to be back in Winnipeg.
Oh, well, okay, Jolene. Special year, but wow, Margie Gillis to open up the season or, to be part of this iconic season is a miracle.
We are so happy and so privileged and so excited to present this show. I think it will connect with people on a level that, maybe is unexpected and so poignant and so heartwarming that we can't wait to share it.
Oh, okay. Old. Very special.
Yeah. I think, as Leonard Cohen would say, you don't want to lie to the young. Yeah, I became old. It's been over 52 years that I've been performing solo dance, and I started dancing at 3, so I'm in my 70s now. And I have a lot of women that in my life that were older. My Aunt Rhoda, my mother's twin, just turned 103. And so these wonderful women have been showing me how to age, not only with grace, but with curiosity and with vitality. And it's been really exciting to also research my own body. And because art is what is important to me, I have a great passion for how high, how far, how fast. I come from an athletic family, so physical prowess is one thing that I admire, but my focus has always been philosophical. So if I have an idea, how does this internal architecture or emotion become architecture on the outside, and how do I communicate that in a very pure way? And I've been blessed to be able to go around the world and do this for all these many years. So aging was a really compelling thing. I was having trouble, as we were talking earlier, about knee surgery and things like that. And I found a number of things that helped me move out of falling apart and move into looking for what was beautiful, what was wonderful, what was healing, what were the joys and the goals of aging. So many of us really focus on, I've lost my beauty and I've lost my this and I've lost my that. And it's true, and you have to mourn those things. You are losing those things. But on the other side of it, there's all this great stuff. The energy behind or that moves through your body becomes clearer and more understandable as your skin separates from the muscle and bone. And that's really great. And yielding instead of thrusting, feeling like life is pushing you forward, a willingness to use life and be part of life as the lover, and enjoy your sensuality, enjoy who you are, looking for the God of smaller movement, if you will. And as we age, surprisingly enough, we can still move with speed because we get very good at falling, but we can't, it's harder to move in slow motion. So it's interesting, and there's just so many miracles and surprises within the aging process that I wanted to explore and draw out and pull out. And then I've got the wonderful set with Randal, and Randal has been a co-director with me on this and has brought to life a lot of ideas, or he would see me researching something and he'd pull it forward or come from another side of it and go, look at it like this, or could you try that? And it was just a very, very fluid relationship. Randal is really supportive, and I feel very seen. And I think we can say things to each other as I could with my brother, who is a dancer, which is sometimes harder to say but they don't feel hard because there's so much support and care and vision. And he's such a great artist. So all this work becomes paintings, the paintings become inspiration, the inspiration becomes dance, the dance becomes, and on we go. So it's been a really wonderful collaborative process, and it's so great to share it here. We got to do it in Montreal, totally sold out for a week, and people just crying and laughing. It was really celebratory. So to be able to bring it back here, it just feels so right. It just feels so good.
Bringing it home, and it certainly shows in the piece. Jolene, I'm going to switch gears now. What does it mean for your dancers, the young dancers, to see Margie and to see her perform and to feel her energy?
It's really, really important. I think something, sometimes when you're young or a young dancer, you forget that you will also have your whole life ahead of you. And, we can often be so much in the present moment of, oh my gosh, what are we going to do next week, next month, next season, that it's hard to, reflect on the spectrum of your whole life as a dancer or an artist. So I think, one of the beautiful things about contemporary dance is that it truly does present artists at all stages of their career, from emerging to mid-career to senior artists to people like Margie Gillis. And it's a great inspiration and a great just a testament to how important dance is and how important the message is that you're saying through contemporary dance, more so as, not just like, what are we doing? And it's so more. It's like real life. It's not just steps or a combination or a costume. It's all of these things together that bring this whole human experience, which I think is really one of the, guttural thrusts of people who founded contemporary dance. Like, this is what they wanted. They wanted to celebrate the humanness. And I think a show like Old and an artist like Margie, like this is the example.
Very well put. The end. No, definitely not the end. Margie, for you now, you've mentioned 52 years of performing.
Yeah.
Obviously, it never gets old. But to think now, your huge body of work, where does it go? How do you keep it, or how do you make it or pass it on? And I know you've created a few things.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been doing what I call group solos, choreographies for my Legacy project. And several of my dancers, some from New York, that I'd worked with at Juilliard, and several dancers from across Canada got in touch with me and said, we would love to work with you no matter what. Because I always had a soloist's, money, funding. And so we found a way to cobble all that together, and we started a Legacy project. And so they've been learning facets of my teaching, facets that have to deal with conflict resolution or with problem solving using the body, because the body is in motion, it is alive, it is movement, dance, life. And the body is politically applied in so many things. So some of my teaching is for high-end dancers, classical, modern, and of other different idioms. And some of it is for people who are not self-identified professional dancers, to understand and resolve and go through their spiritual life, their emotional life, their intellectual life, and see how all of this combines with the body. So there's that, the pedagogy, then there's the mentoring, then there's the choreographing, then there's the group works. And I recently danced for the choreographed for the Paul Taylor Company in New York, and we've been, our work, Literature of the Body, has been at the National Arts Center, and we've been touring. And
do you ever take a break?
I don't know. I think the dancing is the break. That kind of is the break. There's a lot of paperwork. There's a lot of organization. You can get really sucked into that aspect. So to be able to move and to be able to do what I love, that's my joy.
Oh, all right, ladies. Big question. Where do you think contemporary dance is going? What will it look like in the future?
Well, as always, contemporary dance is so influenced by society. So in a strange way, I think contemporary dance is going to go somewhere where we can't even imagine right now. Like the world, artificial intelligence, all of these things, evolution, the challenges in society are going to push us further in the future than I think we can even imagine now. So I would love to be here 100 years from now and see what's going on, because I really think it's unimaginable.
And no doubt Margie Gillis, that name, will be standing out. And also, Margie, to add to that, how will dance possibly be a language or a way to convey our own, not only emotions, but our feelings or statements on the world today? And I know that there are a lot of themes that you speak out on.
I think that art is political. Even if you are apolitical, that's political. So certainly being a woman, certainly being open-gendered, certainly being a dancer, all of these things are already political statements the minute you walk out, the minute you're doing anything. So the whole thing is political. So from my way of viewpoint, which has always been from the human and from the philosophical and from where are you coming from, this is all very normal. So when I work with dancers, there's basics to be learned and understood. And when we're young, we do learn better by rote. We need to accomplish the world. Once you start accomplishing that, to be able to be curious about the world and curious about your insides and curious about the vision you want to see within the future. So right now we're looking at a society that has a lot of blocks in front of it. Are the tariffs going to happen? Is this going to go on? Are we going into this poverty? Can we not get our art done? After COVID, there's very little money for the arts. How do we deal with that? There's no place for the up-and-coming artists. What are we going to do? How are we going to support that? And yet, if we continue to move through it, not to it, but through it, we will find the transformative energy or space or vision. And as Jung said, many of us have to hold the center in order to be able to live into a world where the planet's still here and we are still here. And I think, as Jungian Helen Luke said, we have a duty to joy. Really important, because we can get very seduced as artists and as people and politically by fear and by sorrow, and we have to stay away from that seduction and grow a place for joy so that we keep the vision alive. That's why even wars, people are always saying, without art, what are we fighting for? The world is gray without art. Art is the creative process of envisioning and then moving into the vision of what's possible for us in the future.
Well, definitely we have lots of color here in our world, right here in Winnipeg.
We do.
Thanks so much to Margie Gillis. It's Old, celebrating the 60th anniversary of Winnipeg's contemporary dancers. Congratulations, Jolene. Coming up, we'll meet the creator and the mastermind behind the set for Old. But right now, Old is right here at the Rachel Browne Theatre, February 7th to the 9th. And you can go to winnipegscontemporarydancers.ca for tickets and more information. Stick around, Hue at Home continues. Welcome back to Hue at Home. We are on the set of Old, and this is the mastermind, the creator, the basically you do everything. What does Margie do? Just dance?
Yeah, she just, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
But the set is very, very unique, Randal. And so let's get right into it. What was the inspiration?
Margie was obviously the inspiration for the
Margie.
set. So the set was, we worked in building the piece, we worked in Margie's ancestral home and a church that's on the property, which has been converted to a studio. And the concept of old, I knew kind of coming in, but really hadn't anything pinned down. And when Margie sort of started talking about old and showing me some of the work, I just kind of went, well, there's lots of old things. And I just kind of combed the house and combed the church and pulled things that I liked or that were significant to the family history. And we just started I started putting them in her way and seeing what she would do with them.
Oh, well, the chair is amazing, the chair piece. But I'll have to say, this is a very well orchestrated mess.
Yes, it is. Thank you. The chairs, over the process, like to me the process is the best part of, creating things. A lot of the chairs became imbued with personality, so it would be like the personification of the inanimate object became fun for me. So it would be treat this chair like your grandmother, or treat this chair like a child, and so the relationship with the things in the set deepened more than just the memory or the sentimental or historic value that each item held intrinsically.
Well, Margie did speak very highly of you. And so
Thank
we
you.
do know that this is a magical relationship. But I do want to touch on your personal relationship with this company, Winnipeg's Contemporary Dancers.
Winnipeg's Contemporary Dancers has been a really big influence in my own personal work, my own painting. And I was originally invited onto the board by Rachel Browne. And I stayed all through the years that Ted was here. And when Ted left, I left for a while. And then years later, I came back onto the board and was part of the committee that hired Jolene Bailie, the current director, and we're really happy with those choices so far. And it's been great watching it. It's had its moments, but I think it's back on stable ground. So a really lovely history and a really great Winnipeg thing, and the oldest modern dance company in Canada.
Yes, I know. Well, to wrap things up, as you watch Margie here perform and in rehearsal here in the Rachel Browne Theatre,
Yeah.
do you feel like things have come full circle?
A little bit, yeah. But the circle's not closed. There's going to be way more, so
Most
lots
certainly.
to come. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Randy, for doing your miracle work here. It's been awesome. And no, we're not going to let you go.
Oh, come on.
Oh, once again, we are at the Rachel Browne Theatre. It is their 60th anniversary for Winnipeg's Contemporary Dancers. Special guest artist is Margie Gillis performing Old. And folks, the Sunday show, I've been told, is now sold out, so you have to get your tickets for February 7th and the 8th shows. You can go to winnipegscontemporarydancers.ca, and we will see you next time on Hue at Home.